Sorry about that, everyone. But it's your girl Cece, the hostess with the mostest of The Bottom Line Is, and I am so excited for tonight's episode. And we have a great one. And first of all, I'm just so excited that all of these ladies, and we have a few more people that are going to be joining us, could take time out of their day because we are all caregivers and time is precious. Okay. So let me just put that out there because once this is over, I got to go get my grandmother and put her in the bed. So, so it's real. It is
It's real.
real. So as you all know, this month's topic is called Trying to Hold It All Together. And today's specific topic is no one talks about this part of caregiving. And, I just want to put a disclaimer out there. This is not to deter anybody from being a caregiver, but it's to just basically let you know the real things that go on a day-to-day basis, the things that we're thinking about, all the things that we do, because it's such and I guess a thing out there, a cliche or statements out there that thinks that we're just, washing somebody up or just taking them to doctor's appointments. But there's so much more that goes on into becoming a caregiver. And that job spreads far and wide. And we are only one person. And some of us are doing it alone. Some of us do have support. But we come in all shapes and sizes and thoughts and things and this and that. And so I'm going to.
Oh, now everybody done.
Bernadette, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Monique?
It's a lot of static.
It's a lot of static, yeah. I think she froze.
Bernadette, go ahead, start and go first. And how many years you've been a caregiver and to whom you are a caregiver for?
Okay, so I'm Bernadette, and I have been the caregiver to my elderly parents for more than 10 years. That year 11, I had my mom who just turned 92. My dad was married. He passed away back in February, but I started with them in 2015. I started from, I was in the state of Delaware, and I was commuting for 3 years, moved in to be their primary caregiver, but it's been me for 11 years.
All right. I don't know why I'm having a hard time hearing everybody. I'm the host. I don't know what's going on. I tell you, when you're trying to do God's work, the stuff comes down. So, but I can read lips, so we're gonna keep on going with introductions while I go ahead and try to fix this. So we'll start with Monique. Well, not start, but continue with Monique.
Hello, everyone. I am Monique Duell. I'm the founder of Disability LLC. Hey, my son is 25 years old with cerebral palsy. I've been caring for him, of course, since birth. I was also caring for my late grandmother and my sister before they passed away 2 weeks apart back in 2021. And so I'm grateful to be here. Nice to meet all of you.
Well, my name is Rachel, and I am a multi-generational caregiver. It started with my mom, who had Alzheimer's, congestive heart failure, and Parkinson's. But prior to her passing in 2022, I had to get my adult son, Kevin, who lives with schizophrenia, defective disorder, traumatic brain injury, early onset Alzheimer's, and a heart condition. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I am and still is the sole caregiver to my son, and I was also the sole caregiver to my mother. Your turn, Jeff. Jeff, can you hear? I think he's frozen.
Oh, man.
No,
There you go.
phone call.
There you go,
Phone
Jeff.
call.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, since we're on YouTube, my name is Jeff Strother. I go on here. I'm detailing dementia. On here, I have a detail business I started back in '94. I've been doing that. It's been suffering, and I've been taking care of my mom with dementia. She's 99 for 13 years now. And I'm also the youngest of 10. My mom had 7 girls, 3 boys. There's 5 of us left. It's 3 girls and me and my older brother.
The devil working hard, but we ain't gonna get a devil. It's just do.
He is. Can you all hear that static?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. This has never happened before in my 3 years, and I cannot figure it out. And when I can't figure out something, that irritates the crap out of me. So, like, uh, let me see.
Maybe it's the frequencies of the microphones and the things that we're using.
Could
Could
be.
be.
So
Could
let's
be.
see. I'm gonna mute my mic, see if that works.
Does that
Okay.
help?
Yeah. Well, oh, I don't know. I don't know
It
what's
is
going
still staticky when I talk.
on. No. So yeah, when everybody's on mute, I don't hear it. Well,
Okay.
no, it
So we'll
must
have
be
to
me
go one
because
at a
this is
time.
me when I talk. So, and I'm the host, and I gotta be able to talk. Ah, that is insane to me. Like, what in the world?
If everybody go mute and just go one at a time, because I'm gonna put myself on mute.
Okay.
And maybe we'll go one at a time. Let's try that. I'm going to hit mute.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know. Okay. I'm talking. Okay. Well, sorry about that. So again, um, the devil is trying to work hard, but it's okay because we're gonna keep on going. That's just how the show goes. So thank you all for telling us a little bit about your backstories. And for those of you that have been following my journey, I have been a caregiver for over 16 years, and counting, to my great grandmother and now my grandmother. And they give me a run for my money every day. Every day. So, and my grandmother currently suffers from, she's had a history of strokes, and then these seizures have been keeping us busy, which has led her to vascular dementia and some Parkinson's induced symptoms as well. So every day I am always learning. As well. And my goal is to always help other people along this journey, hence creating this outlet for others to basically share their voice. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So, what would you say the biggest misconception is about that people have about caregivers or the caregiving journey? And I'll let you all just go ahead and chime in. Whoever wants to take unmute first.
I'm gonna go first. The biggest misconception about caregivers is that they are not men caregivers.
Mm,
When you say the word caregiver, it's always associated with the woman. We have more men, such as Jeff, who is a phenomenal caregiver. We have Jeff. We have some other gentlemen, Held Light. There are men out here who are putting in time, money, and literally giving up what they would want to do for themselves in order to take care of whether it is a child, a parent, or a sibling. Um, so yeah, that's the biggest misconception that we hear for me.
no, and I'm glad you said that because I thought about that when I was on you all's live. There is not a lot of men caregivers that I've ever been aware of. Now, my ex, that's actually one of the things that drew me to him was because he was new and starting on that caregiver journey. And it's hard out there. So I definitely respect my men caregivers, and thank you so much, Jeff, for representing tonight for the men caregivers as well. So I would go to you next, Jeff. What do you feel is like a misconception that's out there?
The misconception. I guess people are not willing to accept, let's say the loved ones that do talk or listen, the biggest misconception for me, and I'm pretty sure for everyone else, they don't believe that their loved ones have what they have. And they're quick to tell you what you should and shouldn't do, and they've never walked this journey. That's one of the biggest ones for me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's like people always like, and that's just with anything. People always like to talk, but they never walked a mile in your shoes to really know. And it's like, well, let you stay with the person for a week and then you give me your take and then I will actually listen to what you got to say. But if you haven't and you've only just been sitting with the person for an hour and you think, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with their mind. There's nothing wrong with them. They're fine. Why did you say they're mean? They're not mean. What? Yeah. So, Bernadette, what are your thoughts?
I would piggyback off of that, the same that um, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is the person that they experience is not the person I'm caregiving. And I'll give you an example. I had a childhood friend who called me up this weekend because this was the first time he on TikTok, and he saw my videos and he just knew I was lying. He said that's not Miss Evans. That's not the woman I knew as a child. That's not the woman I knew growing up. Oh, she's got to be making this up. And people will say that, if I say this is that I'm with a person caregiving a woman who does not like me, care for me, it's like, are you on drugs? And I think the misconception is that you are experiencing them in your context, and your context is limited, non-familial times, and is not my experience, and you can't project yours onto me and then say, well, that's how it should be great because she was a great person. That's true, but she was a great person to you. But that is not what I am experiencing. And I think folks just really, it's almost like a Jedi mind trick them to accept that the person we are dealing with is not the same person that they know in their context. And that's uh, misconception or thing that I know that I have to deal with.
Yeah, and it's like they fight you tooth and nail when you're like, no, this is what I have to deal with. Like, and it's like, why are you fighting with me over this? This is my real life. This is what I have to go through on a daily basis. I that's fine. You can go ahead and remember that person, but that's not who I have to deal with on day to day. Just like day to day, excuse me. Just like when you're married to someone, you know, once you get married, I've never been married, so I'm only saying what people say. But they say like, things change, and so people are like, what do you mean your husband is mean or your wife is mean? Like they seem like such great people. And it's like, well, are you there with us 24/7 behind closed doors? No, you're not. So until you are, keep your thoughts to yourself. Thank you. Keep it moving. Yes. Monique.
One of the biggest misconceptions I experience is this caregiving is a one size fit all answer.
Mm,
So when for example, they give you advice and say, all you got to do is, if it was that simple, we wouldn't be here at the all you got to do is. You understand what I'm saying? And they say, oh, you got it easy because you get to be at home all day. You don't have to sit in traffic and you don't. I'm like, but I have to cook, clean, bathe, wash, turn, lift, rinse, repeat.
yep.
I have to have a wheelchair van. I have to keep up the wheelchair van. I got to keep up his care and my care and all of that while my family sits and watch me and then wait for me to crash and burn and then ask me, do I need help?
Yeah, and that's the part I hate. Why you gotta wait for me to crash and burn before you ask me if I need help when I've been asking you, like, have you been listening? Did you clean your ears today? What is going on? So again, we just keeping it real. So that kind of leads me to my first point, the emotional weight that caregiving has. I mean, you all in each of your identifications of a misconception identified like it's a grieving process that goes on because we still have to act in that right now mode, but we're also still trying to grieve the person that once was as well. And it takes a toll because now we can't do the things or move like we wanted to. And we have that sacrifices that we have to make. And then it's like, it's like almost like we were chosen to be, in these roles, but yet we're feeling overwhelmed. And it's like we would have caregiver guilt if we don't show up. Right. So it's like a non-win situation. And a lot of people always say, that, well, you should feel great that you're able to take care of your loved ones. I do appreciate that I'm able to take care of my loved ones. Make no mistake, folks, but at the same time, I do wish I was not taking care of my loved ones alone. I do wish I had additional care. I do wish I had other people around me in my circle that understood what I went through or what I'm going through or will be going through as I go through each stage in the process, right? And anything I'm saying, feel free for you all like to chime in, but it's definitely very exhausting caregiving. And like I said, we make it sound so great because we are all great at what we do, but at the end of the day or at the end of the night when we put them in the bed, we're like, whew, it's finally your time. But at the same time, you can't have no time for yourself because you're already tired. You've already poured 110% into that other person, and it's hard. It is very hard. And then that leads to the second point of the identity shift. The how hard it is to go from being that child to now a caregiver. But then I always feel like even though to caregiver, I still sometimes am seen as the child. And I'm like, yeah, but this child is also making decisions for you. I'm not understanding. Like I'm not understanding, how that, goes. So it's like the roles are blurring and at the same time you're still losing parts of yourself that you once had. And anybody care to chime in on that identity shift?
Well, one thing I had to learn, which was, like I said, because there is no handbook because everybody's journey is different. For
Right.
me, taking care of my mother, I had to learn when to be her daughter and when to be her caregiver. And with my son, it's when to be his mom and when to be his caregiver. You are two totally, three, four, five totally different people, literally. People say, "Do you yell at Kevin?" Yeah, I do because I make Kevin do certain things for himself. Disability does not mean you cannot do. You are not bedridden because he has to relearn everything over again. A lot of stuff. So I'm not going to sit there and baby you. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the mom side, that's me. The caregiver side, let me bathe you. Let me go ahead and get your dinner ready. Let's do the leg exercise. Let's cut down on you not getting that because that's going to make your legs swell up again. That's the caregiver side. But the mommy, Kevin, I'm not folding your clothes. You can fold your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not going to help you get dressed. You can get yourself dressed. You have to learn when to put these two totally different personalities, one on the shelf, one off the shelf. Put that one back on the shelf, take the other one off, and how this affects if you have children as well. A lot of caregivers have children, and this journey affected my youngest one, but that's a whole other different can of worms. But learning when to separate yourself for who you are and what you do is key.
No, totally. Get that. Anybody else have anything to share on that note?
Yeah, it's always been hard for me, and you'll see it in my posts because I re-entered my home um, after being married, raising two kids of my own, having a career, having a master's, leave school, all that. My parents still saw a 12-year-old and treated it accordingly, even though they couldn't do for themselves. In their minds, I never stopped being 12, and and so when I re-entered the home, it's like I stepped back into 1984, and the last unlitigated I had as a teenager resumed and continues up until now. So, and I think that is one of the hardest things, especially when you're going back into the parents' home, your child. It's like you're going right back into that role, even though you're there to help them. But it has been one of the biggest challenges of still not being seen as an adult, and they'll still see, well, and kids are seen but not heard. Respect only goes away, and all of these. So that the tensions, the fights, the flare ups are have they're it can be massive because you're trying to help, but you're disrespected along the way because you're not viewed um, a as an adult in your own right. So I know that is something that's happened to many caregivers across the board, and it it just makes for a lot of stress, upset, and the need for lots of why.
Yeah, that's true. I know one of these days we have to do like a caregiver happy hour or something like that. I think I like that actually. Yeah, sign us all up. Uh, but yeah, it's just it is very hard, and you all may have said this too earlier on, and I apologize if I missed it, but like, how did you all get into being that person's caregiver? Because that, I think that also, that story also correlates for understanding the identity shift, because that's when you know, switch roles.
Well, for me, my
Well,
son was born at 2 pounds, so it was my son. It came from the beginning. After having, getting married and having children, so he was my second born, and I started having complications at month 3 of my pregnancy, and I bled the entire time until I had him at 27 weeks plus 6 weeks after. So I was a caregiver from the very beginning. And I did not really know what that entailed. When he was in the NICU, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to grow and then he's going to come home and everything's going to be cool. And for a minute, he wasn't meeting milestones. And I was like, okay, he was born early, give him time to catch up. I wasn't in denial, but I just wanted to know what exactly was happening. And so when he was first diagnosed with cerebral palsy, the doctor just walked in the room and said, oh, yeah, by the way, your son has cerebral palsy. Here's a pamphlet, and walked out the room like we knew what that was. And so back then, AOL had just came out. So I spent mounds and mounds of hours researching online, trying to see what stage he was in and what to do. So that's how I got into it. And at that moment, that's when I went from just being mommy to him to being a caregiver. I have an oldest son. So it was like I was normal mom to my oldest and caregiver mom to my son. And that was a lot because I had to do separate things. I had to do things that my able-bodied son could do, and then I had to do things that Jeremiah could only do, which wasn't much because he requires total care. So it caused a lot of, tension and all that stuff because I didn't know any better. I was just trying to hold everything together as a single mom, even to this day. We never, me and my ex-husband never co-parented. So I've been holding it down all this time, and my oldest is 27. So trying to find that balance was very hard. There were hard conversations I had to have with him. I had to apologize to him for not giving him what he thought he should have had. I had to repent because like I said, I didn't know any better. So trying to separate yourself as an individual from that is hard when you've done it so long because that's all you know. You find yourself being a caregiver with other people that you don't even know.
Yeah,
And you just doing it, out of reflex because you care, not, because you have to, but it's embedded in you. So even when I'm trying to have a normal day outside of my son and do outings, I'm still in caregiver mode everywhere I go.
I know it just never stops. Jeff, I think you had something to add.
I was going to say how I became my mom's caregiver. It was my sisters. Well, I can't say my sisters. I heard the talk of who's going to take care of mom, but they had a lot of stipulations. What mom can't do, and my mom was a dog lover. She can't have dogs, she can't have this, she can't do this, she can't do that. And my middle brother was staying with my mom. I was staying in a different county. But when I would go over to my mom's house, they would be arguing and cursing at each other. And I thought my mom was scared of him. So one day she said she was going to move and I was going to come back up closer to where she lived. And I said, I'm going to move. I said, you can live with me, but your son can't go. And on top of that, him and I didn't get along. When I say we didn't talk, We was like this a couple of times, and I've been everything under the sun. When I go there, let's go outside.
Mhm.
Let's go outside. He never want to do it. Mom always say stop. She knows she gonna get me to stop because I listen, but he keep going. But anyway, I says, you can come stay with me. I knew she liked dogs, but he can't go. Choice is yours. So he didn't go because he wasn't coming. That's how I started taking care of my mom, not knowing she had dementia then.
Mm.
It goes back, I want to say 8 years, when me and my sister started looking for my mom's purse, and she kept saying someone was stealing it. 8 years ago, my mom went and got 7 duplicate license in 1 year
Oh
from the
wow.
DMV. When we found her wallet, it was 7 duplicate license in there. And we believe it started before then. That's how I become my mom's caregiver. Ooh. I'm gonna piggyback on something else. I believe Bernadette and the other young lady was saying, um, when to turn on and when to turn off.
Mhm.
Minds all run together.
Yeah.
Minds run together. I do not separate it because my mother's all over the place. She doesn't allow me to separate it. And believe it or not, I was never a child. It's kind of, I have this. One day we need to sit down and literally listen to my story. My mother wasn't a wasn't a touchy person. All of my siblings are stacked together, and they're in pairs. They're like a year and a half or 2 years apart. So that's how they hung out. They hung out that way. There was no one for me. Before I could go to school, I went to work with my mom, cleaning those people's houses and cleaning hotels until I was able to go to school. So me and my siblings we never had a bond. We kind of developed a bond when I got older, when they always wanted something, because I could either clean your car, I had maintenance background, or I could fix your car, clean your car, or work on your house. So, but back to my mom, I don't get emotional, and all of mine run together. I can't be a son and be a caregiver because my mom, she'll flip on you. But that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you for sharing that. You know,
You're
for me,
welcome.
I always say that like I felt like I was groomed to do it, but you know, young you don't realize it. And I joke around and say when I was younger, I used to walk around with a doctor's bag. And I had a moment where I used to want to be in the medical field. I didn't know that this would be what it looked like. And so, and my grandmother said to me one time she had a mini stroke, and my great grandfather was also in the hospital, so they both were there. And she said to me when I came the day of my senior prom, she was like, "Oh, I was waiting on you to come so you could help me eat and then take me downstairs to go see Papa." And I said, well, I didn't even tell you I was coming because not like I had a car or anything, to get there. And then when I graduated from school and my grandmother had lived here, it just naturally, because in my mind, I'm, respecting my elders. Okay, you say you want me to take you to the doctors and stuff like that. Sure. And then when she fell, it just came natural to do so. And it's just, the most hurtful thing that somebody has said to me in this caregiving journey is nobody asked you to do it. And you're right. Nobody did ask me directly to do it. And it was bestowed upon me. And, you can call it a blessing, a curse, whatever. Yes, I am, like I said, grateful for the opportunity in those times. But yes, I had to do that identity shift because who knew that I would be talking to doctors and understanding all the different medical terms and things like that. And people ask me all the time, oh, are you in the medical field? Well, yes and no. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I can talk to doctors. And like my grandmother now, she gets a kick out of that. She always says like, oh, well, she understands what they talking about. it is a gift. But yeah, if somebody had told me that I would be spending 75% of my check on my grandparents, and when I take vacations, I still am not completely in my vacation. I'm still waiting for the blood pressures, making sure that seizures are not happening. I just went on vacation last week and had to be on the phone to call 911 for my grandmother, while on vacation, and, up all times of the night to check in with the doctors and everything, because I'm just that person. When they go into the hospital, I'm there 12 hours straight. I'm very hands on, but again, I would have never thought that I would be in this, but I turned my pain into purpose, and that's what led us here, to being able to share our voices. And again, going back to the statement I made of like it being like roses and all these things, we get upset. Don't make no mistake that I have not met a caregiver yet, okay, that has not gotten frustrated. Everybody has had their frustration days, weeks, months, year, hey, whatever. You know what I mean? Hallelujah, we all had it. And I mean, I will say I have cursed. I have done things that if I took myself on the outside, I'd be like, "Ooh, girl, wait, I'm gonna need you to go in a corner. I'm gonna need you to go in time out. Like that's still your grandmother. What are you doing?" But I just could not help it. And I remember a specific time with my great grandmother. She ended up passing from breast cancer, and she was taking a chemotherapy pill, and it was working to shrink her tumors. And when that dementia, she didn't have dementia to the last year of her life. And she stopped wanting to like eat and take medicine. And even though I had her on a feeding tube anticipating this moment, I couldn't crush that pill. And I remember trying to push that pill down her throat. This is my first time saying any of this publicly. Like, please don't judge. Disclaimer. But I was so mad. But I was like, I had to back up to myself. Like, you can't do this every day to make her swallow this pill. If this is not something that she wants, this is not something that she wants. And that's just what it is. You can't control that narrative. But I would get so mad. I'm like, why you can't just take the pill? Like, it ain't gonna hurt you. Like, it's helping you. And I just remember that, and I always I will never forget that moment. But I say all that to say that it's okay, caregivers, if don't feel bad if you have a moment of frustration or you yell and you scream. I would be concerned if you didn't do any of that. Okay. If you walked around like things were just all hunky dory, right? I would be very concerned, but feel free to chime in on when you've had your moments, you all, whoever wants to share, or any point around that.
Oh no, I jump in my car. I
Mhm.
jump in my car in a heartbeat. I will walk away because there have been times when I look, and Jeff, Jeff will tell you, listen, Kevin, if you don't leave me alone right now, this is the mom side. Me and you gonna have a serious problem.
Mhm.
Leave me alone. I will jump in my car. He'd be fine in the house. Same with my mother. It was one time my son was. It was right after my mother passed. Listen, I had to watch the man that I love, my husband, pass in front of me. I watched my mother pass in front of me. Now I'm watching my son suffer. So Kevin went off one day, and I recorded it. It's on my TikTok, and I had to call my oldest son. That's when my oldest son lived about 7 minutes away. I said, Steven, I gotta leave the house. Kevin's in the house. Mom on my way. If I didn't leave, if I didn't walk out that house, because I'm telling you, dealing with people with a mental disorder, oh no. Like right now, I know my son is getting worse, so I'm actively looking for a place for him because now he will not, he's refusing to walk.
Mm.
You can get up. I
Right.
just told him, I did a video last night. Kevin, get up. Ma, help me up. No, you sitting on the edge of the bed. I close my door. I got to clean my room. I can't give all of you me. And people, you say that as a caregiver, and people are like, oh my God, no. I cannot give all of myself. I couldn't do it with my mother, and I'm not doing it with my son because
Mhm.
I will snap.
Yeah.
So I have my days where I'm going to say, hell to the no. Do it your damn self.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah,
And
and yet
Bernadette,
people
you
Hey,
got
do
something
think
to
that
say?
yes, caregivers have an infinite supply of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Energy, effort, good cheer, and that that we should suck it up, let it roll off our back, you know, and just be sunny side up all of the time. And it's like no, and this is draining. This is so, and people don't appreciate that caregiving for the caregivers is such a healthcare crisis for us mentally. Mostly the fact that 30% of caregivers pass away before the person they're caregiving, 40% if that person has Alzheimer's. The fact that we have like a 60% higher rate of health issues because of the time and the care effort that we are literally we're our life force is literally going other places, and folks are just they're like, yeah, well, I just are just they just like touch girls. They're like, oh my gosh, you're angry, you're resentful, you're upset. Oh my gosh, how could you be? Because we're human. Damn it.
Nope.
We are. I'm sorry, that's just an inconvenient truth for you, but we are, because we're tired, because we haven't slept in 3 days, because we haven't had a shower in 2 days, because we haven't, because bills are showing up that are past due, because we're organizing and keeping track of people's lives, and on and on. And no, all these people are saying, oh, this is such a blessing, such an honor, such a grace. I say, well, come on, share some of these blessings tips so you get blessed too. Okay? I want you to have some of this.
It's a selfless job.
So come on, just take a shift overnight if you like, if that'll be convenient for you.
Yeah, it's such a selfless job. And it's like, I don't know about you, but I know like my friends don't understand the magnitude of what it takes to be a caregiver. And I have, some of my friends are parents. And my famous saying is, your child is going to grow up to become more independent, while my child is going to grow up to become more dependent. And it's very hard watching that shift. And as they become more dependent, that takes more from you. When you're tired and you're laying in the bed and you hear them moving around, and you're like, oh crap. Like, why can't you sleep? Wait a minute, no. So it's hard. And like Bernadette said, the stats of how, and people hear this all the time, but I don't think that they take it seriously. If you don't take care of yourself mentally and physically and emotionally, you will crash, and all that work that you put into caregiving won't mean a thing. That person is still going to have to find another caregiver or go into a nursing home or some type of assisted living facility or whatever the case may be, because you're not going to be there to take care of them. So you have to put yourself first, which I know as a caregiver is like, oh my God, me first? Like, oh my God. No, you have to, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't do all of these things for people if you're not taking care of yourself. So, having that good support group, if you need to go to therapy, and I always tell people to make sure you carve out time and space for the things that you like to do, because that's what's going to rejuvenate you and keep you going. And I know it's easier said than done, because we literally are thinking about what is going on. Even while we're all sitting here right now, we're thinking about what our loved one is doing right now and what we need to do for them. When we get off this live, or what is going on. The caregiver's brain never stops. It never stops, no matter what or who else is there with them. It just never stops. And so, we carry that cross quietly, right? But it is a hard job to bear. It's probably the hardest job that we will ever have in our entire lives, right? And, people always say, oh, well, you're going to be so blessed and all that. I don't do it for that. I don't. I don't. You know what I mean? I'd be lying if I didn't say I did. I do it because I had to. You know what I mean? Like, I that's just what it is. I have to, because if I don't, nobody else is going to do it. And I just don't want to see my loved one go into a nursing home, because I know that they won't make it. They won't make it. And that's just essentially what it is. So, and that leads into my other point. Burnout is real, and it can sneak up on you, at any given point. And, and I feel like we don't really start to notice that we're getting burned out until we're already drained, until we're already there, and then it takes so much to like refill you and bring you back up. And like someone said, that's when you snap. You have fatigue, you have brain fog, because you're running on autopilot. You know what I mean? We just running because we know what needs to be done. We know we get up at a certain time with them. We know when we have to bathe them. We know when we have to do this, we have to do that, or when medications are due. And we're just going till we're gone. Till it's not, till it's not the left. Anybody have anything to share? Anything to add on that?
Yeah, when I wrote my book, Caregiver CPR, at that time I was taking care of my grandmother. She had had a stroke. She came to live with me. I was in my first semester of college. My son had to have spinal fusion surgery, and I was doing all of that during that time. And it was like how I don't even know how I was getting it done. I just know that God gave me the strength to do it. And so after going through that whole process, and like I said, her transitioning and my sister transitioning 2 weeks later, and going through that whole thing because I took care of my sister as well, and my brother who has autism that I still care for, even though he's in a group home, it was a lot. And by the time I crashed and burned, I really didn't realize it. Like I didn't go through the like the crying fit type thing. I only went through that when I was going through depression. But with burnout, I just stayed in the house. I didn't go check my mailbox. I didn't go to the store. I just stayed in the house and stayed in my room and just, let the days go by and stuff. Um, and I was just quiet. I was quiet so much so till my car insurance company said, "Hey, Miss Dude, do you still have your car?" I said, "Yes, outside." Because I didn't drive it. I have a beacon, so I guess they're like, "Do you still have the car? Because you haven't driven it in over 6 months." I'm like, "I haven't been outside in over 6 months." So I said I had no need to drive it. And so I went through other things like, just like being in the house, not wanting to be around anybody, getting up in the morning and just laying there like, Monique, you got to get up. Because if you don't, Jeremiah's not going to be changed. He's not going to be fed. He's not going to be bathed. Those were the things I had to keep telling myself, just to get out of the bed. And then grieving in the midst of that, it's like, life is not over for you. Their dash is done, but yours is not. So you gotta go. You gotta get up. And just to hear him in the morning, "Mommy, good morning." And I would be in tears, going in there to care for him because I'm like, I gotta do it because his life matters. I don't want him to be in a group home. I didn't want my brother to be in one, but my family literally watched me do all of this. And all they would say is, "Well, let me know if you need anything." Are you freaking serious?
And even when you answer that question, they still ain't going to do it.
Well, let me
You
tell
know
you
what
my
I mean? It's like,
experience. My experience with that expression is they're only asking you in hopes that you don't ask them to do the one thing you know
mm,
that they want you to do,
yep.
that you need them to do, or that you want them to do. Long as you say, "Oh, can you bring me some dinner?" Done. "Oh, can you take my car to get gas?" Done. "Can you sit with Jeremiah so I go to the movies?" No. "Can you change him real quick because I've been in the bed sick for the last 3 days. I don't have no energy." No.
Hmm.
So when they try to give me advice, I tell them all the time, if your advice is not coming with help, don't give it to me because I don't want it.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
You
But
don't get to give me advice when you're not willing to help. You don't get to tell me, "Oh, I think you should," or "Here's a resource." Okay, but what part of the resource are you going to play? What role in this resource are you going to play?
mm-hmm, that part.
And
And
so that's what it's been like for me. And so now I don't ask, and they're like, "Well, you don't say nothing to nobody." I'm like, "You're not Stevie Wonder, are you? Do I have to? Oh, you want an invite just so you could say no? You can't. You're busy. Oh, I wish you would have told me sooner.
Yeah.
You know."
yeah, this one more thing I want to add, and because then I gotta go because I gotta get his stuff together for tomorrow. But they don't realize the financial struggle
Hmm.
that caregivers go through. They think automatically because my son has Medicaid that Medicaid pays for everything. Absolute lie.
Mm-mm.
Absolute lie. You
You have
know.
to fight to get that.
But here's the crazy thing about it. I had my mom for over 15 years. I didn't find out about these programs until after my husband died because it's not talked about in the Black community. And that's something that Jeff and Bernadette, we talk about these resources on our content. I post about the three companies that will pay you to take care of a loved one. I post about the company if that person has Medicaid, you can get paid for them. I talk about if you have Medicaid or private insurance, how you can get free incontinence products. We do all that. And if you don't, Bernadette and myself, we know Kevin who owns a medical supply company. Hey, we share the resources because it's really not talked about in the Black community. It
Mhm.
absolutely is not. And we're sitting around here, we're going broke. You know, I, I'm down in income. Lawrence passed away. I had to get my mother. I didn't find about this literally until after he passed away. And that's when I found out about, oh, but that still doesn't substitute. They don't talk about you have to cut your hours. I haven't been on a vacation since 2014. They don't talk about FMLA. It saves your job, it doesn't pay you for your job. That's
Exactly.
that's up to the discretion of the business. They don't talk about you using your vacation or PTO time because you need to even check because you got to take this person to the doctors. You
Mhm.
know, I work a 40-hour week job. I own my own consultant agency. I'm a full-time caregiver. I'm a published author. I mean, my book actually is named From Pain to Purpose. That's the actual name of my book. So people don't realize where we're at.
Yep.
What we got to do. What I got to do to survive to make sure that this mortgage is paid, the
Mhm.
car note is paid. I couldn't get a better job because my job, when I was making 85K a year, laid off 400 of us. I'm making half that now, if that. So you don't realize what we have to do to survive and to keep above float. I I know I have to put my son in a facility, but where? He just can't go anywhere, and I'm not going to lay him anywhere. I'm not going to put him where I wouldn't lay my head at. Point
Yep.
blank, period. So you don't realize, and then the condescending tones from family members. I stopped speaking to my sister for 2 years and slept good the whole 2 years. You weren't here. For 15 years, you left me alone to watch our mother die. So your attitude because you didn't get a picture in the obituary, but you can take a plane from New York to St. Croix to your boyfriend's house to take care of his father who's passed away of cancer. But you couldn't rent a car or I rent a car for you to come from New York to Virginia to see our mother? No. You have to learn, and I'm gonna say this, and I hope it's not too, but you gotta have what I call the F it attitude. F them,
Yep.
F that, F you. You come on my house, don't say nothing about my dishes in my sink. Wash them. I had to fight Alzheimer's to put a t-shirt on. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
I
And
had to sit up
that's
there.
that's the real things that we have to go through. We have to pick our battles. Like nobody, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about how I'm going to be able to support, and still keep afloat. And like you said, you have all of those, you wear all those hats just so you can keep things financially stable in your household. And the cost of facilities out there. I remember when I was looking for assistant livings. I mean, they are $3,000 plus a month. And I'm like, who do you think can afford that? And to
It's higher than that. It's
responsibly,
higher than that.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I looked several years ago, so yeah, so I know I can't even imagine what it is now, right? But it's
It's
just like,
6,000, $6,000 to $10,000 if
who
your
can
child is a
afford that?
level 3, like Jeremiah and my brother. It's
Yeah,
$10,000 a month.
for my son, if there's a place, it's $8,000 a month. If he needs a private room, it's 10,600. I actually sent Jeff that information. 10,600 for a private room.
Yeah, how are you supposed to be
Who
a caregiver
has that?
and afford
Like,
that and
who has
afford
that in this
to live and
economy?
eat yourself? We're gonna be out there homeless, but they're gonna be eating good and looking good. Like what? Like how does that doesn't make any sense? Like I don't understand
None.
that in the world. It's like people are capitalizing on caregivers. And we have the baby boomer generation now that need caregivers, right? And so they are capitalizing on that and making millions off of this, and we're like, we are still the low man on the totem pole, and we're just trying to get, crawl up there and get something. But how are you going to afford that? I don't know anybody that can afford that. And I remember when I worked for an independent living facility in another state, and I was like, when I asked them how much the rent was, I was like, oh, shit, we'll be coming here. Like, discount or not, I still can't afford it. Like, what?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
make it sense. It
And
doesn't.
now he wants to put tariffs on medication. One of the reasons why I kept my health insurance at my job If they kick Kevin off of Medicaid because he's my dependent, I can put on my job insurance. But the co-pays are going to get me. His neurologist, his regular doctor, paying for his mental health doctor. That's what's going to get me. I mean, I have a health savings account, thank God, but still, they
But
don't
specialists are
understand the cost
expensive.
of this.
Yeah, specialists. And then don't forget, medical, you mentioned medical supplies or like equipment, so durable equipment, you know what I mean? All of those things add up. And, if you have Medicare, they only pay for one DME per 5 years. So it's like, well, you're screwed. You know what I mean? As people take, advance sooner than 5 years, but whatever, I digress. But it's just, how are you going to be able to afford that? Like, they make it so hard. And, as you get older or you have complexities with with whatever you're going through, that requires more specialists, and that costs a lot of money. And then, like you said, medications are expensive. How are you supposed to get these medications? Now, I know that some, like I remember for cancer medications, I did contact like the cancer society, and they helped, do that. But not everybody does that for conditions. And so, and if you don't have the medicine, then what are you supposed to do? And then they wonder why people go back crazy, like that movie, what is it, John Q, back in the day, when he was taking care of his son, and his son had a heart condition. I'm going off memory. Had a heart condition, and I think he robbed the bank. He did something illegal, right? And so, because he was just desperate, you get at wit's end. And it's like, as a people, we live in the U.S. and we think that we should have at least good, maybe not great, but good, when it comes to this. And we are nowhere short of this. There is not a lot of programs like, like you said, FMLA doesn't cover us. Well, it doesn't cover me as the grandchild, but I mean, luckily I have power of attorney paperwork. So, to cover, but for those people that don't, that are helping out, what about those people? And your job is not going to care. They're going to fire you if you get sick. Heck, they ain't worried about whoever you're taking care of. They ready to fire you. And that's unfortunate. And I try as HR to prevent that from happening when a termination comes, because I try to be understanding, because I can empathize, but not everybody has an HR person like me working. You know what I mean? It's just hard. But that's the stuff that nobody talks about, the expenses that we have to
Yeah,
bring up.
you are right about that. I have enjoyed the time with you. I have to get going because it's, caregiver check-in time.
I know it's all almost time for everybody to get everyone in the bed. So I get it.
I have to go.
So
Okay.
thank you so
Nice
much
meeting you,
for joining.
Bernadette and
You too.
Rachel.
See ya. So,
Um,
oh, Rachel, you getting ready to go off too?
Yeah, I gotta go off too because I have a brunch
nice
tomorrow
meeting
and
you,
I have presentation.
Rachel.
You too. I appreciate this. You have to come if you have TikTok. Please come on. Jazzy Jeff and I
I'm
do something
already over
called.
there.
You
Yeah,
already
I'm
over
on
there?
there. Yeah, I'll look you
Look,
up.
look,
Is that your
look,
name on
Jazzy.
TikTok?
Yeah, Butter Love 68X. Look on there. Jazzy Jeff and I go live every Monday and Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's called Caregivers Conversation, where it's a safe space.
Okay,
It's a true
great.
safe space.
Awesome.
Yep, and
Sis,
I'm
sissy.
glad you said that too before you left. So I wanted you to share that information. And Bernadette is the Caregiver Collaborative on
Yeah.
TikTok and YouTube as well. So make sure you follow her as well, and follow everybody's journey for the safe space. So
And Jeff is detailing dementia.
Well, it's all
yes,
Jazzy
right.
Jeff
On
CC,
here.
on here.
On
CC
here.
inbox me with everybody's stuff because I'm not gonna remember
yeah, no,
everything.
I got you.
So I can
It might
follow.
not be
I'm
tonight,
I'm
but tomorrow
serious.
I will.
Yeah. Now I'll
So
remember the detail guy because that's easy. But yeah, I'll find
Well,
you.
I'm also an advocate for mental health too, and every May I do a mental health brunch, and I am going to post that live. So that's May
okay,
9th.
Oh, great.
So
Okay,
look out for that.
great.
But Cece, thank you so very much, sis. I really appreciate you
no
sharing your
problem.
platform. You always welcome on our platform
Always.
I
Yes.
anytime.
appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
have a good one.
All right, you too. Enjoy tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yes, and
Thank you
so
so much.
just to kind of, I know we got to get ready to wrap up, but I think
I'm good.
yeah,
Yes.
no, for sure. And I think that it's important to note that, and we kind of echoed it already, that caregivers don't just need support. We need strength. We need people to uplift us, and
Yeah.
circle. And I know I said it earlier on, but, caregivers, I think it's very important for you to, again, have a safe space, Find other people. Like, we could be the start of your, your safe space journey, your support journey. If you need to vent, we are here to do so as well with you. But make sure, don't be afraid to talk to a therapist. Don't be afraid to, reach out.
That's right.
Services, you have the Department of Aging, and everybody has that in their state and their county. So I think that starting there, because so many different states have so many different things, but I think if you start there and try to build up, but don't wait to have these type of conversations. If you have a parent that is, doing well, they are aging well, still have these conversations about how they want things done. You yourself have these conversations with your children or your next of kin or whatever the case is, because we never know when anything can happen. You can become a caregiver at the blink of an eye. Something could happen. And I wouldn't wish any negativity on anyone. And, this journey, again, a lot of people look at it as positive. You have some people that look at it as negative. It's an impartial difference, but I feel like it has its moments. But you just have to know how to navigate those moments and find out the right ways that work for you in those moments. And for me, I tried to start early with trying to train my grandmother on different cues and things like that, so she understands and it's in her, in her mind already. Because I'm not dealing with that. That's what I'm like, I'm gonna let you stand there and get your life together, and then we can move. You know what I mean? And people call it tough love, but I feel like if people watch us from the outside, they probably like, what are they doing? Like, they doing too much. So why are you talking to them like that? But it's what works for us. We have to do what works best for us within our surroundings, right? To protect our peace, we have to have those boundaries, as well. And that's something that, like, Bernadette and I did a podcast recording, which will be showing next month, where we talk about boundaries to put up for caregivers. So stay tuned for that. But Monique and Jeff, is there anything else that you want people to know about caregiving, what it is, or what thoughts are, or how they need to prepare, whatever the case may be? Any final thoughts before I wrap up?
I'll let her go.
Okay.
I was sitting here thinking because I thought you were going to start talking.
Oh, okay. No, you don't do anything. I can go.
Yeah, go ahead. I was trying
Okay.
to get my thoughts together.
With me, learn the signs, early detection, a lot of the repeat. Also, I always tell people, if you don't have patience, pray for more. Pray for more patience. Also, don't go against them. Me, everything my mom says, I go with it, but I'm going to divert. I'm going to try to change direction of certain things. Like, sometimes she would give you all something to laugh at. One day, my mom, I come downstairs before she does. She dresses herself. She does all that herself. My sister bathed her. She went in my room and put on my boots and told me they was hers. Would not take them off. I had to, like, okay, just let it go. It's just shoes. I had some brown, Timberland color Nike boots. She come downstairs with them on, fine. But yeah, don't go against them, go with them, and just change directions. I'll give an example. If she have this in her hand and you want to get it from her, try to get her attention with something else and try to get this out of her hand. Don't leave nothing around that you don't want disappear. When it comes to remote, wallet, anything, it would disappear. You won't find it because they don't know where it's at. They forget it. That's one of mine.
Okay. And I think it's important too, like, because some of the things that you just said too, it's just like, again, that childlike mentality. My great grandfather used to always say, you go back to a child when you get a certain age. And I want to
adult, twice a child.
Exactly. That's the exact saying that he used to always say. And and I think it's important to note too, that caregiving, like I said, comes in all different shapes and sizes. It's not just, I feel like a lot of people, when they think of caregiving, they think of Alzheimer's and dementia. But like in Monique's situation, taking care of a child that has cerebral palsy, or, Rachel with her son having a mental illness.
Yes.
It comes in all shapes and forms. So don't put us all in a box. because that's not, that's just not what it is. You know what I mean? Like your caregiver journeys are different than my caregiver journeys, but at the end of the day, we still all have the same common goals, is to keep our loved ones safe
Caregiving.
and, and make sure that they feel loved, but then also continuing to protect our peace and, and keeping things going, no matter what it takes. We are the ultimate sacrifice as it relates to taking care of people. And so, Monique, I'll let you go. I'm sorry if I cut you off.
Oh, no, 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 you're fine. I wasn't saying anything yet. I was trying to put my thumb at the thing because my screen was going dim on its own. But I would say to people who are already caregivers or about to take on that role, know what you're getting into.
Yes.
Ask
Yes.
plenty of questions, and as you go through it, give yourself grace. You're trying to merge your life to someone else's life. You're trying to provide them with the best version of health care and things like that that you can within your power. Rest when you need to, cry when you need to, pray and pray some more, and pray and pray some more, and ask God what to do, because ultimately He will give you strategy to help you get through it. And when life seems to be too heavy, phone a friend. Like she said, go to counseling and therapy. You can have Jesus in therapy too. I talk about that in my book, Caregiver CPR. God wants us to have counselors. It says so in the word. The word says in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So that means it's okay for me to go see a therapist. God gave us things here on earth to help us navigate on this side of heaven. So take full advantage of them. And then,
Right.
celebrate every moment of your life. Because like you said, you never know when you're not going to get to do that.
No, thank you so much for sharing. And before I kind of close out, can you all say, I know Monique, you have a book too, just say how people can reach you as well before I wrap up.
I'm all over social media. I'm Monique Dewar just about everywhere, except for Instagram. I'm Miss D Rain, MSDEEREIGN. I am on all of the socials. My books are on Amazon. My podcast, Having a Moment with Moni, is streaming everywhere. It's podcast about how I deal with taking care of Jeremiah and how God, blesses us in the midst of that. And so, yeah, just send me a line, inbox. I do respond, but say something else more than just hey, and don't just poke me. I don't respond to that. I don't know what poking means. I mean, or just hi.
Oh,
So
that's you on
yeah,
Facebook, right?
yeah, I'm on Facebook.
No, no, that poking thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
I
on
I
can't
never
do
Facebook.
could
it.
figure that out. I
No,
never could
people
figure
just
that
click
out.
you or wave at you, and I'm like, okay, you're waving, but okay, something else.
What's up?
Okay,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, feel free to follow me, drop me a line, and like I said, I'll respond, and I would love to give you resources. I'm here in the DMV area, so I only know about resources here. I'm
So
not
am I.
familiar with anything
Oh,
else,
me
but I
too.
can. Okay, so then I can help you get to the people who may know where the resources are where you need to, because I, connected with a lot of different caregivers. But thank you so much, CC, for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being available. I know it was short notice, so I really appreciate it. And then Jeff, how can the people reach you? I know Rachel said a little bit, but just to give you that time to share.
Um, Mine's gonna be a little different, a little difficult, and the reason being, on Facebook is Jeffrey Struther.
Okay.
That's my name. I have a Facebook for my mom, Hot Lips and Jeff.
Okay, that's cute.
That's a nickname I've been giving her since a kid. On TikTok is Forever Clean Detail, but I go as Jazzy Jeff.
Okay.
On here, I'm noticing it says Forever Clean Detail, but it's detailing and dementia. I never put all of that stuff together, so that's why I say it's a little difficult for me. I do have a YouTube. It's my detail is detailing dementia on YouTube, and I put mom up on there. I will be starting another one. It's going to be something along a line of caregiving.
Okay.
I have a journey. I'm gonna let you all know, but a lot of other people don't know, and I know this is going to get out. I bought a box truck that I'm turning into an RV,
Oh, nice.
and once my journey is over, I'm on the road, and I'll be still talking about the detail. I'll be talking about dementia. Um, I do have a podcast that I can't remember how to keep working. I have a podcast. I forgot the name. but I do have a podcast.
Well, that's fine. You can
Because
send you if you want to send it to me later. Like when I go back in and make the edits for this, I can like put it in the caption everybody's information.
and I
So
think it's
no,
Forever Clean, something like that. But it is because of my business I've had for so long. I started back in '94. Everything is Forever Clean.
gotcha.
As normally everything is Forever Clean. But
No,
yes, I
I
will
love that.
remember. Say it again.
I said no, I love that.
Thank you. My mom always told me, "You forever cleaning something," so that stuck, and I put it as a business name.
Gotcha. And I'll say before I wrap up, just my plug. May 1st, I'll be launching my caregiving coaching business. I've been doing it for many years, talking to people about, trial and errors that I have come across, and then, actually just helping people out. But now I have this coaching business and it's a membership and it's engaging videos, PowerPoints each month on how to navigate, things as far as like estate and wills, how to hire a home health aide, all of that. And then also May 1st, so next Friday, I'll be launching my first book called My Nana, My World, where my journey started. And it's the first book of my series called Growing Up with Nana, which is going to talk about from being a child with Nana to being her caregiver and to then grieving her passing. So it's something for everyone in that series, but this is the first part of the book, and it will be on Amazon as well. So, we'll put that in there. But, to close, if, you felt that this conversation helped you or you can identify as a caregiver, drop a heart in the comments and let us know. And like I said, everybody shared their information and how you can reach out to them. But, and if you've experienced anything like this, being a caregiver or, any struggles or, triumphs that you want to share in your caregiver journey, also put that below in the comments because we want to hear about that. And someone, whether it's myself or someone that, participated here today, I'm sure will respond as well. And, at the end of the day, if nobody told you this, you are doing enough and you are enough. And, I always say that God never puts more on you than you can bear. So, again, I think Rachel had said what her book was pain with purpose as well. And that's such a true statement, no matter how you look at that. So, but keep in mind, too, that you're also allowed to take care of you. And because you come first. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is caregiving is love, but it should not be done alone. So with that, thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of The Bottom Line Is. It's your girl, Cece. Make sure again that you like, comment, and subscribe and see us next week for another episode.